Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. The federal government shut down partially Tuesday morning just after midnight when Congress couldn't agree on a plan to fund the government. The shutdown affects millions of Americans and almost 700 workers locally. News 2's Erica Parsons spoke with Delegate Donna Christensen, who was excused for a few days to attend funerals in the territory.
The fight in Congress over the Affordable Care Act, now a standoff, did what many hoped it wouldn't do: shut the federal government down.
This is the worst possible outcome.
Both sides are sticking to their guns.
We've already said no to the defunding. We've said no to the delay. We've said no to the delay in the individual coverage because it begins to unravel, which is the intention, to unravel the whole Affordable Care Act and have it be gone. And we're not going to do that.
It's affected millions of workers nationwide and almost 700 locally, like the U.S. Department of Agriculture, whose doors were closed Tuesday.
The parks are closed. And while Buck Island has a special mandate, and they are not completely closed, the Virgin Islands National Park in St. John is closed. That affects already all of the taxi drivers in St. John and some of the businesses in St. John that depend on the park to bring the tourists in.
Federal workers who are considered essential are safe for now, but those deemed non-essential aren't safe, like the technical workers at the National Guard who were sent home today. Law enforcement like Customs and Border Patrol and the Coast Guard will still go on, as well as the FAA and the Transportation Security Administration.
We would like to sit down and work on some of the areas that need to be worked on, but not under duress, not at the 11th hour with the gun at our backs. That's not the way to create policy or to fix policy.
And if a compromise isn't made quickly, things will only get worse.
SBA would be closed. USDA would be closed. And so loans, home loans, SBA loans, which have been coming out, are not going to be processed. Areas where we protect food and water and air, those areas are going to suffer. The impact is going to be far-reaching, so we have to end this as soon as possible,
Erica Parsons, News 2.
Delegate Christensen said that Social Security and food stamps or other temporary assistance to needy families will not be affected. However, all federal projects going on in the territory will be impacted. Meanwhile, it is more than 400 national parks are closed. The EPA and NASA shuttered. It's just a small sample of the impact of a partial government shutdown. But lawmakers don't seem any closer to ending their budget stalemate. Danielle Nottingham has the latest from Capitol Hill.
The announcements keep coming in. The Defense Department is putting the brakes on sports activities at the service academies, and the National Institutes of Health may have to turn away hundreds of patients. And this is just day one of the shutdown. The president said they had become punching bags in a partisan fight. House Republicans are now trying a piecemeal approach. They're planning a vote today to fund veterans, the National Park Service, and the District of Columbia. On Capitol Hill, Danielle Nottingham, now back to you.
The shutdown has not affected the rollout of the president's health care law. Americans started signing up for medical insurance today as scheduled. Now on Tuesday, the Department of Labor Commissioner Albert Bryan Jr. announced the local labor department's receipt of over $2.7 million grant funding that will be used to support the prevention and detection of improper benefits payments, improve local performance, and to update information technology infrastructure. These will help hold the territory accountable for improved prevention, detection, and recovery of improper payments. These funds and additional grant monies will also make direct deposit and other enhanced unemployment insurance services available to customers in the Virgin Islands as well as the mainland. Well, today kicks off the first of the Affordable Care Act across the United States, as we just mentioned. In July, the territory selected Medicaid expansion instead of a health insurance exchange due to primary factors. News 2's Shanika Robinson has the details.
Today marks the first day across the United States where, through the Affordable Care Act, individuals may sign up for coverage via a health insurance exchange.
Nothing really special happens today because we are not establishing the health insurance exchange. The governor had made the decision based on the recommendations of the Healthcare Reform Task Force, that it was just financially impossible for the Virgin Islands to be able to afford an exchange. So we do not have a big change occurring today. What we're continuing to be hard at work at, which we have been for the last year, is improving and expanding our Medicaid program to try to include as many people as possible.
In July, the territory selected Medicaid expansion instead of an exchange due to the primary factors including inadequate federal funding for exchange premium assistance, cost-sharing assistance, and the difficulty in securing a state partner.
Greatly, we did not get full Medicaid expansion, but we got a great deal of expansion in our Medicaid fundings. I mean, it's about 10 times what it was. It's about quadrupled eventually where we were in 2009. So we have a fair amount of money. We have not used the 2012 or the 2013 money. That means that we have even more money to use between 2014 and 2019.
Medicaid expansion kicked off on August 3rd for pregnant women and children with an income eligibility level of $6,500 per year. The Department of Human Services anticipates additional coverage of new populations to include childless adults during a phased-in approach over the next year.
We have been in meetings this week and last week of planning for the next expansion of Medicaid, which we hope will happen before Christmas once we get all the necessary federal clearances.
Shaniqua Robinson, News 2.
Now, the department encourages persons to check their eligibility by visiting the Nude Hansen office on St. Thomas and Hospital Ground and on St. Croix at the Charles Howard Clinic Medicaid offices. On Monday, the 30th legislature approved a general fund budget of approximately $643 million for fiscal year 2014. Senators were faced with the territory's limited finances, but managed to pass a budget and omnibus bill that sponsors say contains some provisions that are necessary to bring the budget into balance. The general fund budget includes a $28 million budget for the Superior Court of the Virgin Islands, $5.7 million for the Supreme Court of the Virgin Islands, and the University of the Virgin Islands received $28.8 million general fund appropriation. Finance Committee Chairman Senator Clifford Graham described the budget as doing the best with what we have. Recently, news broke out that the Schneider Hospital in St. Thomas has been keeping medical waste outside in its loading dock unsealed and unsecured. Schneider officials respond to the issue. News2's April Knight has details.
Earlier in the week, Virgin Islanders were met with the horror story of a headline: medical waste from Schneider Hospital left out in the hot sun, a public safety hazard waiting to happen. Hospital officials say that it is not negligence, but getting temporarily stuck in a difficult situation.
We had no other alternative. You can't dispose of medical waste anywhere around this area in the Virgin Islands or Puerto Rico. It has to go all the way to Miami.
Schneider's medical waste gets disposed by Stericycle.
Every 2 weeks that they transition. Once they're full, they're gone.
Between the pickups, Schneider would temporarily store the waste in two ways:
in a refrigerator and in a temporary container, which was not refrigerated.
Recently, the VI-regulated waste management told Schneider that they can no longer issue temporary storage trailers, leaving the hospital with only the refrigerated storage as an option. Stericycle pickups got delayed.
With the delay of the original container from Miami, and with this new decision made by VI regulated medical waste, we were caught in a little bit of a pinch situation.
Hospital officials say this forced them to store waste outside, but still inside safely sealed containers.
In a contained area, chain link fence and covered, not in the baking sun. Nobody's allowed in an area unless you have dealing with medical waste, unpacking the medical waste, unboxing the medical waste.
On Friday, the Department of Planning and Natural Resources gave the hospital 30 days to properly dispose of the waste.
As of yesterday, most of the waste is already in the container, and by tomorrow it will be all gone.
So the medical waste disposal problem at Schneider Hospital seems to be getting resolved, but it still begs the question, is this common practice or is it just an unfortunate incident?
Very infrequent. As a matter of fact, I'm speaking with my staff, they can't recall the last time we were in a situation.
April Knight for News 2.
Well, just how bad is violence in the territory? The hospital shows some interesting data. Early today, Schneider Hospital Director Bernard Wheatley spoke to the Rotary Sunrise Club and spoke about violence-related injuries that the Schneider Hospital has encountered over the past few years.
Obviously, violence in the territory is very pervasive. It does have an impact on the hospital. We see quite a few cases, and I'll share the numbers with you. Staff witness on a daily basis the physical and psychological effects caused by violent crimes. Among those, basically, are gunshots, stabbing, rape, blunt trauma, and other type of casualties that we see coming in. Sometimes it's just a little tough situation for a small place, but we see quite a few.
And we will have more on those statistics later on in the week. 6th grade elementary school teacher David Payne was murdered a little over a year ago on September 7, 2012. Family members say he had been pursuing his master's degree in education at the University of the Virgin Islands. They will not allow his murder to go unsolved. They are doing what they can to fight for justice with the hopes that the public will take notice and join their effort.
Justice for David! We can't stay silent anymore. We can't expect the police to do everything. We have to help. We have to be heard. We need to be seen.
David Payne Jr. would have turned 31 on Friday, August 30th, 2013. But instead, family members recognized his birthday with a justice rally. His 11-year-old son, mother, father, sister, and other family and friends gathered outside the V.I. Farrelly Justice Complex, reminding the community that Payne's life was cut short when he was fatally shot on the evening of September 7th, 2012, in front of his residence by unknown assailants.
Today would have been his 31st birthday. He had passed away just days after his 30th birthday. You know, we just asking the community to help us, so that we can get an arrest and a conviction for his murder.
He lived up here, actually, where I live in Pennsylvania, and he went to college. He attended Penn State University, then Temple. He came back home and finished his college education and came back. He wanted to come back to give back to the community. His passion was children, working with kids, and so he never wanted to stay in the States. He wanted to come back to give back to the community, and, you know, he came back, and then to be gunned down, is just unbelievable.
We need Virgin Islanders to speak out when there's a crime. We need Virgin Islanders not to hide known criminals in the community. We need Virgin Islanders to be more vigilant. Miss Frazier, the mother, is determined, and I feel her passion.
The family is trying to raise $20,000 for what they are calling the David Payne Reward Fund. The money raised for the fund would go toward a reward for anyone who identifies the person responsible for David Payne Jr.'s death.
You know, it's a mixture of emotions, definitely, sadness, anger, but happiness at the same time that people have came out to support him and just showed love, which is definitely what we want. We definitely want to show love, which is what he was about.
David Payne leaves behind 4 children, 3 sons and a daughter. Now, after the rally, the family walked to the grave and released 31 balloons in honor of his birthday. For more information about David Payne Jr. or the Reward Fund, visit davidpaynerewardfund.org. Detectives on St. Thomas have arrested 22-year-old Michael P. Hendrickson and charged him with third-degree assault in connection with an incident that occurred on August 28th. According to detectives, a male victim was injured by gunshots in the area of the Bella Vista Hotel on August 28th. Following an investigation, Hendrickson was identified as the suspect. Police also said that Hendrickson and the victim were involved in a previous incident, and the shooting was a result of an ongoing feud between the two men. Hendrickson was arrested on September 28th, just before 7 p.m. He was held on $50,000 and remanded to the BOC. Traffic Investigation Unit officers on St. Thomas are investigating a vehicle accident that involved a 13-year-old minor riding his bike. The accident happened on Bodo Road about 9:30 a.m. on September 29th. Police said a Mazda truck was driving northward when the minor rode around the corner and collided into the right rear side of the truck. He fell from his bike and fractured his ankle. The victim was taken to the Schneider Regional Medical Center. This case is still under active investigation by the Traffic Investigation Unit officers. The Criminal Investigation Bureau on St. Thomas have arrested Susan Ann Luoth and charged her with burglary and grand larceny on September 29th. The male victim told police that he left his home and when he returned, he found that $10,000 in cash was missing. Upon reviewing his surveillance video, he saw Luff enter into his home and began to feed his dogs, in which she had no permission to do so. Police have not recovered the money at this time, and Luff was arrested and placed on a $60,000 bail. Well, the Virgin Islands Police Department held a swearing-in ceremony to officially install Thomas Hanna as Assistant Police Commissioner, James Paris as the St. Croix Police Chief, and Arthur Hector Sr., the Chief of Police of the St. Croix District. On September 30th, 3 veteran officers stood before a few friends, family, and fellow police officers and took the oath of office, which was administered by Judge Denise Hines-Roach. The honorees represent more than 60 years of policing in the St. Croix District and demonstrates that officers can rise through the ranks and achieve the highest honors. On Saturday, Vitima officials registered from about 4:38 a.m. more than 20 tremors. Now, these tremors, they say, are considered minor earthquakes ranging from 2.6 to a 3.4 magnitude as of 11 a.m., occurring near 18 degrees north and 65 degrees west. Elton Lewis, Vitima's director, said this sort of activity is called a swarm of tremors. It occurs several times a year in different parts of the Caribbean region and is not unusual, and so it is not alarming. Lewis reminds everyone that earthquakes occur without warning, however, so it is important that individuals be prepared but not alarmed. And one of the ways you can learn about preparedness, Vitima is inviting the community to join the 2013 Great USVI Shakeout. It's the largest earthquake drill in the Virgin Islands to practice the 3 basic steps to protect you from harm: drop, cover, and hold on. You can visit www.shakeout.org/USVI to register to participate and learn more. Then at 10:17 a.m. on Thursday, October 17th, drop, cover under a sturdy piece of furniture and hold on. The Great USVI Shakeout is part of the world's largest earthquake drill and is also being organized in more than